I know I did a Dark Magician profile not too long ago, but with the new ban list in the way, I kind of had to adjust my deck accordingly, uh, due to the fact that number 42 got banned, so I had to adjust my deck accordingly. Uh, the changes haven't not been too serious, so anyhow, this is my updated Dark Magician profile according to the new ban list. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright. Starting off with the monsters you wanna play triple Dark Magician. It's like the minimum standard of every Dark Magician deck to play 3 Dark Magician. Other than that, it just completely grabs a hold of the whole deck. Next up, we play Double Apprentice Delusion Magician. What this card does is that this card helps you search for your Dark Magician by special summoning it. You can also special summon it by discarding 1 card. Also, it works as a attack booster for any Dark Spellcaster that is in play. So it kind of works as an honest in a way, which is pretty helpful. Okay, next up I play Double Magician of Dark Illusion. My last profile, I didn't really explain this card too well, so this time, what this card does is that you can special summon it if you play a spell and trap card during your opponent's turn, which is pretty handy. And also, Dark Magical Circle counts it as a Dark Magician, so you can use Dark Magical Circle to banish any of your opponent's cards with this card as well. And plus, there's a combo that involves playing a track card, spell or track card, doesn't matter which one. You can use that spell and track card to activate this card's effect to bring back Dark Magician from your graveyard. And plus, there's a combo out there that involves bringing back your Dark Magician and Dragon Knight from the graveyard by using this card, which is pretty handy. Next up, we have the best searcher in the deck. We play Triple Magician's Rod. This card is the best searcher in the deck because it searches for cards like Magician's Navigation, or Eternal Soul, or your Dark Magical Circle, stuff like that. It's pretty neat. Usually I would know. This would be like the only normal summon of the whole deck that would benefit you most going first. Other than that, if just the only backdraw is that if it gets ashed or anything, then then that's gonna be a little troublesome. But other than that, it's the best normal summon of this deck, and it really gets you far in your searching. Okay, I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. I play triple keyword Dragon Magic. Basically, there's actually 3 combo potentials with this card. I only mentioned one of them, where you can reveal one of the materials for your fusion monsters from your extra deck, and special one of the materials from your graveyard in face down defense position, which is pretty helpful. This card also searches for your polymerization as well, and also there's a common combo where you discard Dark Magician to search for your poly, and then use the second effect to bring back Dark Magician back from your graveyard and easily pull out your Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight over here, which is pretty handy. So yeah, other than that, this card is a necessity to bring out your Dark Magician and Dragon Knight as fast as possible. Yeah, and the last monster of the deck, we play the Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. What he does is that he searches for your spellbook cards in order to get your draw power, and I'll get into that later, but for now, this card is just the main searcher for the draw engine, really. So yeah, that's about it. Okay, jumping into the spells now. I play 3 Dark Magical Circle. So, like Magician's Rod, this card is also a pretty vital kind of search for the deck. You basically search the top 3 cards of your deck to add a Dark Magician, or the Dark Magician spell or track card, and add it to your hand. Also, if you special summon Dark Magician from the field or graveyard, or from the you get to banish a card your opponent controls, which is pretty handy. So yeah, let's just move on from there. All right, for the back row deleters, we have Double Dark Magic Attack. This card is searchable by Magician's Rod, Dark Magical Circle, and Eternal Soul. So this card can easily get access to pretty quickly, which is pretty awesome. And most of the time you will have a Dark Magician out on the field if you manage to go first and stuff like that. This card will this card will really get this card is really easy to search, and if you discard it with Apprentice Illusion Magician or anything like that, you don't need to worry about it. So yeah, this card is just the background heavy and stuff like that. The backup searcher, we play 1 Illusion Magic. So in case your Apprentice Illusion Magician gets ashed, or if your Magician Rod gets ashed as well, or any hand traps that stop it from searching, this card will be somewhat helpful backup in case you have Circle or Soul or Navigation in your hand. Then this card will benefit you pretty well, just to get the extra DM in your hand. Plus, you can search it from your deck and your graveyard, which is pretty handy, because in case you have Navigation set on your field and you have no Dark Magicians in your hand and all your Dark Magicians are in your graveyard, this card will come in pretty handy. Just that if you use it I don't prefer to use it early game, because if you use it early game, and you draw all your navigations, then you're kind of screwed. You just break right there. Okay, onto the draw engine. I've mentioned this before. I played 2 Spellbook of Secrets and 2 Spellbook of Knowledge. Spellbook of Secrets, what it does is that it searches for all the spellbook cards. So it searches for your knowledge and the spellbook Magician of Prophecy that I have right here. Yeah, it searches for him as well. So there's two ways you can draw, where you can use knowledge first and then give up secrets and then draw 2 cards, or you can use secrets first, search for Blue Boy, and then get knowledge and then use knowledge to tribute himself as well, to draw your 2 cards as well. There's many ways you can draw 2 cards with this engine specifically, but however you play is your choice. Okay, that does it for the draw engine. So on to the misc cards. The first thing is a field spell. Same amount, but I played 2 Secret Village of the Spellcasters. What this card does is that if you control a spellcaster monster, your opponent cannot play any spell cards whatsoever. However, the backlash is that if you don't control a spellcaster, then you can't play spell cards. But that won't be much of an issue, because if you have Soul on the field, you can constantly bring back your Dark Magician from the graveyard, no problem. And even better is that if you start with this card, then you're pretty much set sail for an easy, well, not necessarily easy, but like a stable route of victory easily. So next up, I play the 1 Regeki. The reason why I play Regeki is because I have many games where the opponent is really monster zone heavy and extra monster zone heavy, so this card kind of, not all the time, but mostly baits out all the negations and stuff like that, which is kind of helpful, kind of not helpful at the same time. But other than that, this card really helps with the problematic monsters. Just the problem is that if I'm facing decks like Thunder Dragon or Cyber Dragon or Sky Striker, then this card will be practically useless. Which is, so basically you can side in and side out this card. You can side this card or main deck this card if you want, but like other than that, I main it just to deal with problematic cards that I know that I can't deal with. Okay, on to the last two spells. So I played 2 Polymerization just to get Dragon Knight out, since I may be running 3 Keeper Dragon Magic, but a 3rd Polymerization would be pretty bricky because you honestly don't need 3 knights on 3 knights on the first turn. Just if you get one of these on the first turn, then it's pretty much a safe path from there. Okay, that's it for the spells. I'm gonna move on to the traps now. For the best trap card of the whole deck is triple Eternal Soul. Finally got the secret rares for these. Basically this card is basically your Monster Reborn and your Searcher at the same time, which is pretty handy. You can use, and plus it's a trap card, so you can bring back your Dark Magicians from during your turn and your opponent's turn as well, which is pretty handy. Just the problem is that if this card gets destroyed while it was already activated, then you can say sayonara to your whole monster field, which is pretty terrible, pretty fatal. But other than that, this card also defends this card as well, since this card's name becomes Dark Magician while face up on the field and in the graveyard, so this card can bring it back as well, which is pretty awesome. Like like if you have Soul and Circle on the same field and you use Soul to bring back this, then your opponent's gonna have a tough time dealing with that. Just the only problem with this combo is that it can easily get kaiju'd and stuff like that. So this combo kind of is almost indestructible. Just loses to kaiju and other stuff like that. And yeah. Okay, on to the next traps. The next trap I play is Triple Magician's Navigation. Got the secret rares for these two. Shout out to my friend Joseph to actually pointing out the fact that this card can be used on Pendulum Monsters too, since they're treated as spell cards. I actually didn't know that. I'm actually quite oblivious for not knowing that sooner. But anyway, what this card does is that you can special summon Dark Magician from your hand and 1 level 7 or lower dark spellcaster from your deck. So you can bring out cards like Apprentice's Magician, Magician's Dark Illusion, or another Dark Magician if you think you're playing it safe. And plus, while this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it and target 1 face-up spell and dark card your opponent controls and negate it. And plus, this card is a quick effect, so speed spell too. So this card can negate pretty much like your only negation. Your only form of negations is like only navigation. So yeah. The only drawback is that if you would only have one negate ready when you use it, but the only problem is that you can't use the banish effect the turn it was sent to the graveyard. So that's the only problem with this card. But other than that, it's pretty promising because it helps you fill up your board as fast as possible, and even gets a negation ready the next turn. Yep. Onto the battle traps. Hasn't changed much really. Just the 2 Solemn Strike and the 3 Storing Mirror Force. So basically, you can change this up if you want to. Like I've been seeing players who replace Storing Mirror Force with Quaking Mirror Force or Evenly Matched even. And with Eradicator Virus back at 3, you could play 3 Virus if you want to, because you're constantly having dark spellcasters on the field with 2500 or more attack, which is pretty easy to get. So yeah, you can These traps is just my personal preference. You can play any kind of traps you want. You can play skill drain, virus, full force virus, doesn't matter, it's your choice. Okay, that's it for the traps. On to the extra deck. The extra deck had one major change since that number 42 got banned, but this 2 Dark Magician and Dark Knight is still remaining the same since this is a Dark Magician Fusion Turbo deck. Okay, next up that's it for the fusions. For the XCs, I play 1 Ebon Illusion Magician, 1 number 11 Big Eye. So the monster to replace number 42, it won't fully replace it, but it sort of hits the spot quite well, and that would be Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. This card is almost similar to number 42. Unlike number 42, this card can only bring out 2 tokens and not a full board full of them. This card can still make a Cleafort Genius and stuff like that, since it's also a machine as well, which is a somewhat good substitute as well. And plus, you can actually still deal damage to your opponent, while number 42, you can't touch your opponent after that. So on to the last XC, I play 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. So basically, this card basically can't be destroyed by excuse me. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has XC's material, and every time your opponent activates any card effects, whether it be spell, trap, monster effect, or pendulum doesn't matter, this card burns them for 500 points, which is pretty handy. Okay, that's it for the XC's monsters. Let's go on to the links. Links pretty much stay the same, since the ban list only took a toll on number 42 and no other card in this deck. Anyhow, I play the 1 Boral Sword. I said this before and I say it again, you can change this to Scaldred or Topologic Bomber Dragon if you have budget issues, because this card is incredibly expensive. Anyhow, what this card does is that this card can switch 1 monster your opponent controls to defend any monster on the field to defense position, and your opponent cannot respond to this card's activation when you use that specific effect. And if it battles, it gains half of the attacking of the monster being attacked to, and while the monster being attacked loses half of its attack points, while Boral Sword gains the other half, which is pretty handy. And plus, it cannot be destroyed by battle, which is pretty handy. Next up, we have its slightly lower end counterpart. We play Borreload. Borreload is similar to Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon in a way, where it cannot be targeted by monster effects. But the only difference is that it can still be destroyed by card effects, while Red Eyes Flare cannot be destroyed by any card effects of any sort. But anyhow, this card can actually finesse your opponent's cards, like number 11 Big Eye. Only that it just keeps it to the end phase and stuff like that. Not really keep it forever like Big Eye does. But it does let you attack with it as well. But just the problem is that once you attack with Borreload, you've used its attack, and your next attack will have to be the monster you just took. Anyway, we play the full Nightmare package. Whoops, let me just fix that. Basically what these 3 do is that Cerberus sort of destroys a special summon monster in the main monster zone, and if it was co-linked, you have to draw an additional card, and plus co-linked cards cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is pretty handy. Nightmare Phoenix, what he does is that same as Cerberus, only with spell and trap cards. And same with Cerberus, if it was culling when you use the effect when it was link summoned, you can draw 1 card. And instead of culling cards cannot be destroyed by card effects, this card, when it's culling to other friends, cannot be destroyed by battle, which is pretty handy. And lastly, Nightmare Unicorn. Excuse me. Oh man, my throat's dry. Basically, if this card is a link summon, like the other two, you can discard one card and target one card on the field. So it can be spell, trap card, or monster, or in the extra monster zone, or pendulum scale effect, or pendulum scale, doesn't matter. You can discard one card and target it and shuffle it into the deck, which is pretty handy. This card gets over most problematic cards, except for Warlord or stuff like that. Gets over many boss monsters like no problem. And like the other two, if it's calling, you can draw another card. And plus, during the draw phase, if it's calling to any of its friends, you can draw an additional card instead of just drawing one, which is kind of like Pot of Greed. Next up, I played 2 Link Spider just for the Clee for combo, and I play the 1 Proxy Dragon, and lastly the 1 Clee for Genius. So that basically rounds up my extra deck. So onto the side deck. My side deck is pretty much the same. Nothing really changed. I played Triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Basically the best hand trap in the entire game because it stops most decks from searching or sending stuff from the deck to the graveyard, or special summon from the deck, which is pretty handy. I played 2 Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. You can change the Ghost Ogre or Effect Veiler if you want to, but like I just personally prefer Ghost Reaper out of all of them because why not? And where you have hand traps, you gotta protect yourself against them. So you gotta have. So I played 2 Call by the Grave, just to get that extra defense from hand traps and stuff like that, which is pretty handy. And in case my 2 Dark Magic attacks don't get through, I play 2 Twin Twisters just in case I'm facing a deck that's back row heavy, like I don't know, Altergeist or something like that, which is pretty back row heavy. And completely optional, I play triple evenly matched. And what this card does is that if you can, at the end of the battle phase, if your opponent controls 1 more cards than you do, you can make your opponent banish cards on their field face down so they control the same amount of cards as you do, which is pretty handy. And last but not least, I play Triple Closing Match, which is pretty much rounds off my side deck. So yeah, that is my updated February 2019 Banlist Dark Magician deck profiles. So yeah, this deck took a minor nerf, but not too severe. It's only that number 42 got banned. So you still have Mecha Vandal Beast Dracosac, which is still pretty handy. So yeah, that's my updated Dark Magician deck profile from the post 2019 February ban list. Well, that's it. Peace.